23-year-old Kayla Hodgson worked as a bottle girl. Late at night in the clubs while the music was blasting and the drinks were flowing, she received a lot of attention. Though Kayla may have been popular with the men at the club, that was not always the case with other women. So when Kayla Hodgson was tragically found stabbed to death inside her home, investigators rapidly shifted their focus from the men in her life to the women in theirs. It seems that one rejected female's jealousy-fueled anger towards Kayla had been brewing for some time, and it had finally boiled over. The city of Tamarack in South Florida is just north of Miami in Broward County. At 3 p.m. on July 13, 2022, sheriff's deputies received an emergency call from an apartment building on Northwest 57th Street in Tamarack.
911, what's the address of the emergency?
Oh, ma'am, I don't know the address.
Okay, what is the apartment number?
The caller, Rivelto Robinson, had just opened the unlocked door to his friend's apartment to find a bloody scene.
Okay, fire rescue's on the way. They're coming as fast as they can.
Can I run down? Can I run down and go get the paramedics?
No, but you could go outside and direct them in.
Hold on, ma'am. I'm going to get them now. Hold on.
Okay.
4 minutes after dispatch, Deputy Huston arrived at the building, ushered in by Rivelto, who had rapidly covered 2 flights of stairs to wave down responding officers in the parking lot. He was quickly joined by additional sheriff's deputies, as well as fire rescue and paramedics. Emergency medical aid would not be required, however. 23-year-old Kayla Hodgson was found just inside the threshold of apartment 200, the home that she shared with her mother, Diana. She was clearly deceased from multiple stab wounds, lying on the floor supine, surrounded by shards of broken glass. Deputies entered to sweep the home and ensure that no one else was inside. What they viewed as they walked through was the aftermath of a violent struggle. Though Kayla was found lying on her back just a few feet from the door, areas further into the unit showed what appeared to be bloodstains on the walls, floor, and kitchen island. Underneath Kayla was a dark hose, commonly associated with a hookah, a smoking device for flavored tobacco. Glass shards were on the floor, and a portion of the base of the hookah was on the counter. It appeared that Kayla had been dragged from just inside the front door to the position where she was found, a few feet inside. On Kayla's right hand, a fingernail was missing. Both the fake and the real one likely pulled off during the struggle with her killer. A DNA sample was taken, a potentially key piece of the puzzle, should investigators find a match on file or identify a suspect. Based on the droplets spotted across the apartment, it also appeared that the killer had remained in the residence for a period of time after Kayla had been fatally wounded. Investigators identified several areas where blood evidence was located in both Kayla's and Diana Hodgson's bedrooms, notably inside Kayla's closet and bathroom. In the kitchen, there were signs that an area had been wiped down, particularly on the kitchen island opposite where Kayla was on the floor. What's more, it was determined that most of the glass that forms the base of the hookah was unaccounted for. Investigators speculated that it had been broken during the incident and pieces later removed from the scene in an attempt to cover up evidence. Most notably, there were several shoe prints visible around Kayla. The prints clearly contained the brand name BB, and based on their placement around her body, these had to have been left by someone other than Kayla. The bloody footprints continued outside the apartment.
He's confirming. I'm going to ask his name. He ran down. He ran down. The guy who found her ran down, flagged fire rescue, and then ran back up. So he's saying these are his prints.
The prints left a trail from apartment 200 down the stairwell, along the cement pathway, and into the parking lot, turning fainter and less visible as they continued outside of the building.
Outside the apartment?
Well, there's bloody footprints that come all the way down. So when you come upstairs, just be careful. Oh, there's there, and then they kind of lead kind of fizzling out all the way here, and then here. So I'm guessing he made it out to 57 if it's a 5.
Yeah, if it's a 5, yeah, it's probably domestic 5.
Yeah, so I want to lock that so nobody comes in there, and then here. And then the whole stairwell, you can see it from.
It was not certain that the prints had been left by the killer, or if they had been left by Revolto in his panic to flag down emergency responders. Though investigators examining the scene inside the unit were beginning to believe that items had been removed and perhaps carried to the building's garbage bins, following the path outlined by the bloody footprints. What's more, the BB footwear matched a pair of slip-ons Kayla was known to wear, and there was evidence that her closet had been accessed by her killer. Revolto Robinson patiently waited, blood visible on his hands, which he did not wipe off until after speaking with detectives as instructed. Veltz, as he was known to friends, explained that he had last seen Kayla the evening before, sometime around 7 p.m. He left and went home. He assumed that Kayla had worked that night. She was employed as a bottle girl at a local club called Spot Lounge. Kayla had a shift at the lounge every Tuesday, which ran until about 4 a.m. In the morning, Velt stopped back at the apartment, but Kayla did not come to the door. She did not pick up her phone, and she was not responding to text messages. At first, he was angry, believing that she was blowing him off for an unknown reason. But after he left, Velt spotted her car parked in an unusual spot, just outside of the building's knot, instead of directly by the entrance. He thought this was so uncharacteristic of Kayla's behavior, combined with her giving him the silent treatment, that he grew suspicious. So he returned to the apartment. This time, he tried the door. It was unlocked.
Now I'm banging on the door. I'm like, your car's here. I'm banging on the door.
Okay.
And then I just checked the door. And I checked the door open. And she was right there.
Hold on one second.
Okay, so she's facing, her head is facing this way, and her arms is out right here. As soon as she's walking by the island, in the kitchen on the left side of the island. So literally on the
Did you
left side.
see anything unusual besides the fact that she
No, nothing out of the ordinary I was seeing besides that.
Okay. Was there anything around her? Anything near her?
She had a hookah, her hookah rope. Her hookah hose is fine.
Okay.
Rivalto described his relationship with Kayla as just messing around. Veltz had a girlfriend named Nadia who lived in New York. By all accounts, Kayla knew about Nadia, but Nadia did not know about Kayla.
So you've been dating her for about a year?
Yes.
Are you her only boyfriend?
I have no idea.
Okay,
Just
no
messing
problem.
around.
Okay. And for about a year.
Yes. She's a bottle girl at a party.
She what?
She's a bottle girl at a party. She works at Jamaican party every weekend.
Hold on.
Every Tuesday, I mean.
Where's that at?
It's right down the road in this plaza down here.
Kayla was described as an amazing daughter, a very loved and adored big sister, friend, granddaughter, and cousin. They remembered her great smile, but most of all, Kayla's compassion, humbleness, and loyalty. She had a vibrant personality and a big heart. Investigators were now faced with the crucial task of identifying who could have wanted Kayla dead. Officers on scene recovered one of the first clues as they canvassed the building, asking neighbors if anyone saw anything. In the early morning hours, a 16-year-old neighbor of Kayla's reported someone had been in the hallway and had knocked on her door. That person had claimed that someone on the floor had stolen their backpack, which had been left in the stairwell. After speaking with officers at the apartment building, the teen gave a recorded treatment to detectives.
In your own words, could you just tell me about what happened that night?
So it was around like 2:30 maybe. I heard a knock at the door, so I looked through the peephole, but I wasn't sure who it was. But I seen it was a woman, and she was kind of standing off to. When I opened the door and I poked my head out, she was talking to me. She was kind of not looking, like she was looking, but like over her shoulder. And then at one point, she turned and she pulled her mask down. And she told me that she looked like someone took her bag. Like she put her bag down on the stairs, walked around the complex, told me she came back and her bag was gone. Then she said, I knocked on everybody's door, or I'm knocking on everybody's door on this floor because somebody on this floor took it. She said she heard a door open and then it closed. Probably like 20 minutes later, I started hearing banging at the door. Like it was like somebody was aggressively banging, but I didn't come out my room, like see who it was, but I called my mom, told my mom that there was somebody banging on the door.
The neighbor's unit was in close proximity to Kayla's, and there was no evidence that someone had genuinely knocked on every door in the hallway in search of the bag in the middle of the night. It was more likely that the neighbor had encountered the killer who knocked on the wrong door. The teen gave a description, a woman in black with a mask. Surveillance in the building caught the woman on camera.
Kind of like a coat, a Yankees cap, like black sweatpants, and I'm not sure what type of shoes they are, but I know they're like really.
Predictably, when the cameras were checked for the same individual leaving the building, they found that they had changed clothing and shoes. The camera captured images of the suspect carrying a cardboard box and paper bag. Presumably items from the crime scene were inside. In the following days, detectives gave instructions to have the items inside the garbage compactor searched. Kayla's mother, Kayla Hodgson, worked as a flight attendant. She caught the first flight home upon hearing the horrific and devastating news of her daughter's death. Diana spoke with detectives to offer any insight that may be useful. She listed items missing from the home, including a pair of slip-on BB brand shoes.
I described a pair of slides that this person was wearing, and you told me they were BB slides and provided a description of them without me showing you a photo. Is that correct?
Correct.
We just discussed that on the phone. And you described them as a pink slide-type sandal with kind of fuzzy
Fur,
pink,
yes.
And
The BB lettering is like a glitter, like a rhinestone look to it.
Though the schedules often conflicted, the mother and daughter had remained close. Diana knew a considerable amount about her daughter's social life, her work, and relationships. For months, Kayla had been receiving threatening phone calls. In the days and weeks before her death, their frequency increased.
She did mention that she was having an issue as of lately with the prank phone calls, and she seemed to be a little bit more concerned about that.
Vact were also aware of the calls. In fact, for some time, Kayla had believed that his girlfriend in New York was behind them. The number was blocked, but the slang the caller used, like the term deadass, was typical of New Yorkers, she thought. Velt was clueless when it came to the details of these calls.
Probably like a couple weeks ago, she was getting like prank calls, people calling her like constant, people calling like prank calling her like, like just prank calls. And she said something, but she didn't get into details about it.
The greatest insight, however, came from a conversation with Kayla's best friend, Janisa, who was also a
was a guy named Shakur. There was a guy named Terrence. Terrence, he lives in New York. That'll be about it.
Okay, so
that was
Cure, Velt.
Then there's her ex-boyfriend,
Javon. Okay. But does she see him at all still or no?
No, they haven't seen each other in a while.
And we know Terrence has a girlfriend.
Correct. Well, he doesn't claim the girlfriend, but yes, he has a girlfriend.
It was this connection to New York with the realtor Kayla knew as parents that raised red flags for Janisa. Because just like Velt, Terrence, or Terry as other friends knew him, had a girlfriend in the city, though he claimed they were not an item. Terry and Kayla had met the previous August and began to spend time together when she was in New York. The problems with his not girlfriend began immediately. Threatening Instagram messages, harassing behavior, and turning up uninvited. She always seemed to know when they had been out together and would contact her afterwards. Despite this, when the crank calls began to escalate, Kayla still suspected Velt's girlfriend. Why? Because according to Diana and Janisa, from Kayla's perspective, her casual and sporadic interactions with Terrence were insignificant, not worth getting worked up about. It became apparent, however, that Terry's, sometimes girlfriend, disagreed. Kayla had returned home from a visit to New York shortly before her death. She and Janisa had spent one night out with Terrence and his friends while in the city, without incident. That had not been the case on a previous trip, when Terrence's not-girlfriend turned up unexpectedly, looking for a fight.
She was waiting for Kayla at a lounge when we were in New York.
And not this past time, but
no,
before that?
this was about last year.
Okay. Why was she waiting for her there?
Probably to fight her.
Oh, she wasn't like, they weren't trying to meet up and like squash something.
No,
she just happened to show up where Kayla was headed.
That place was a frequent place for the guys to go hang out. So she went there in some sweats, hair tied back, looking to fight.
This is like an after hours place?
Yes.
A physical altercation never took place. Kayla avoided the confrontation and went elsewhere. That night could have been a warning for Kayla, after which the threatening texts and calls wrapped up. Janisa shared texts from Kayla about the harassment with Detective.
You're a whore. Leave my man alone. Like, just stuff like that, antagonizing it. But she goes, the girl keep calling me and text me now. She said, like, they would be silent for a good minute. Then I would have to scream hello just for them to say hello. Then at the end, she was like, you know you're a whore, right? And I was like, yeah, I know. Tell me something else. Then the bitch would go quiet. Next day in the morning, she messaged her again. Could be a female. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here pregnant. The sick part is, if y'all really talking and hanging out, I want you to know I'm not coming easy on either of y'all. Girl crazy. She had a tracker in his car. That's how she found out that they went out to eat, that he was picking her up. But for the most part, there's not one time that she did not know.
The woman who was or was not the girlfriend of Terry the realtor, was 28-year-old Sakina Thompson. Sakina worked as a nail technician. She had launched a YouTube channel offering beauty tips and makeup tutorials some years earlier.
Hey guys, my name is Sakina. I'm from New York. I'm 20 years old. I'm a full-time nail technician. Yeah, I didn't really know what to say, but hello. Yeah. Okay, bye.
Though Terry insisted to Kayla that he was not in a relationship with Sakina, it seems that the two had been committed to each other previously. Sakina's social media was flooded with videos of their time together. She posted about receiving enormous bouquets of flowers, presumably from Terry. One video was a carefully crafted montage of a dinner date, which included a shot of her date's personalized boxer briefs, her photo printed across the waistband. Another post, Sakina shared a recorded display of her opening a luxury gift. Terry is seen in the background, receiving congratulations from friends. Whether Sakina was exaggerating the blissful nature of her relationship or not can only be speculated. What is clear was that in her mind, Terry was her man, and he was not meant to be in contact with other women.
I'm gonna go buy me a gun, and I'm gonna come back here and set this motherfucker off.
Sakina found Kayla on Instagram and evidently followed her activities closely. Just days before the murder, Kayla blocked her.
A bitch just be talking about me, thinking I ain't gonna go look on their page. I be looking at y'all page, and y'all can't talk about me because
it seemed unlikely that the last night Carrie and Kayla spent out in New York went unnoticed. In addition, Sakina almost certainly had access to Terry's cell phone for the express purpose of monitoring his interactions with other women. She even posted their messages to each other, showing his love and loyalty to her. Terry wrote, "This is the happiest I have ever been. I love you forever, like I will never stop loving you, I hope you know." An offer that he made was also revealing. "If you come over, I'll let you go through my phone."
She was really mentally psycho. Like, mentally, the girl would not leave Kayla alone. Mind you, this guy talks to many other girls in New York. But I think the fact that Kayla was gorgeous, you know, she had the body and everything, like Terrence was just after her. And that was just a persistent thing with her. It wasn't just a one night, you know, it was persistent, and he would work on it. He would fly her out. He would send her food. Like, you know, it was persistent. I feel like she felt like she was a threat. Okay. And I don't know, I was sitting at home and I don't know, everybody kept asking me, like, do you know anybody that Kayla had problems with? Do you know anybody that didn't like her? You know, nothing triggered to me. And then all of a sudden it just hit me, like, I forgot about this girl would literally antagonize Kayla for no reason. I know Terrence has bought a flight for Kayla, you know, to come to New York. So I have you know, of course the address would have to be in their messages. And the girl has access to his phone because she's text Kayla off his phone. So that's the only way I can think that she can get the address.
Terry had purchased Kayla flights to New York. He ordered food to be delivered to her home in Tamarack. There was every reason to believe that her address was in his phone, and that his jealous and angry, sometimes girlfriend, had access to his device. Sakina Thompson matched the physical profile of the woman caught on camera outside of Kayla's apartment on the night of the murder. They placed her photo in a presentation lineup for the teenage neighbor who saw the likely killer that night. She identified Sakina Thompson.
In your own words, like, if you were to say how sure you were that was the person.
95.
95? Okay.
On Wednesday, August 3rd, 2022, at approximately 8:50 a.m., Sakina Thompson was taken into custody with the assistance of the U.S. Marshals Task Force in New York. She was then extradited to Florida. In the small black Prada purse that she carried at the time of her arrest were a handful of items, most notably the printout for a plane ticket, New York to Fort Lauderdale, leaving July 12th and returning the 14th. Investigators also learned that she was 2 months pregnant. Sakina pleaded not guilty to a charge of first-degree premeditated murder. There was no sense arguing that she was not the woman at the Tamarack apartment that night. In addition to the plane tickets, investigators linked her to a stay at the Plaza Hotel, 2 Lyft car rides to and from the airport, as well as attempts to conceal the Ubers she ordered to and from Kayla's apartment by using a fake account. The DNA found under Kayla's fingernail eventually returned a mixture of hers and an unknown male, a fact that may have suggested some gaps in the case. However, the mountain of circumstantial evidence tracking Sakina to the crime scene and cleaning up afterwards was overwhelming. Social media accounts report that Sakina gave birth in 2023 while in custody, awaiting trial for the murder of Kayla Hodgson. Her pregnancy would in fact form a central point of her defense. She argued that she went to Florida just to speak with Kayla, woman to woman. After being blocked online, she was left with no other means of communication. When she arrived in the middle of the night, she claimed that Kayla attacked her with the hookah. The glass shattered. Sakina alleged that she was slashed across her midsection by a piece of this glass. The attack caused her to black out as she fought to protect the life of her unborn child. Sakina testified in her own defense over the course of 2 days. She admitted to cleaning up parts of the crime scene, changing into fresh clothing that she located in the apartment, and then discarding evidence into the trash before fleeing. She also admitted that she had been jealous of Kayla Hodgson.
A little, I guess you could say, jealous and insecure.
Despite her jealous motive, she insisted that it was Kayla that had instigated the physical encounter when she hit her over the head with the hookah.
She just starts grabbing my hair and punching me, and I'm on the floor. I'm kicking. I'm trying to get up to fight back at this point because now it's a fight.
Prosecutors were not buying the story of a blackout. In the state's opinion, the attack that left Kayla dead from dozens of stab wounds may have occurred in a blind rage, but also constituted first-degree murder. They argued that Sakina had brought a knife with her to confront Kayla. She testified instead that after being slashed with a shard of glass, she awoke from her blackout holding a weapon. In standing over Kayla's body, she must have grabbed for something sharp during the struggle. A knife was never located, though the state argued it was successfully disposed of. Despite the temporary blackout, Sakina did have the presence of mind to attempt to clean up, change into fresh clothing, and dispose of her bloody items.
Punching me.
Punching you where?
My face.
Where on your face? Point to it for it.
I don't remember, but everywhere on my face.
You don't remember where she was punching you in your face?
In my face.
I mean, this is why you killed her, right?
No.
Right?
No.
It's not?
No.
You didn't kill her because she was fighting you?
No, I killed her because she took the glass from the hookah and slashed me across my stomach. I wasn't really walking over blood, I was walking in the blood.
You walked in the blood?
Yes.
With what shoes?
The BB shoes. I changed my shoes.
On Tuesday, the 14th October, 2025, after an hour of deliberation, a jury found Sakina Thompson guilty of first-degree murder. Her sentencing took place on December 1st. Kayla's mother and brother gave victim statements to the court. They thanked law enforcement and the prosecution for their dedication in obtaining justice for Kayla. They noted that the number of friends and family members that attended court that day and throughout the trial stood as a testament to how many lives Kayla had touched and how deeply she was missed. Others also spoke, including Kayla's aunt and godmother.
We are forever changed, but by God, He didn't break us. We are stronger, and Kayla will be remembered always.
Handing down his sentence, Judge Siegel described the murder as heinous and noted that a life term was the only appropriate punishment for the premeditated killing. He gave Sakina Thompson this sentence without the possibility of parole.